Hi, it's Empress Rose here, and welcome to our collective reading. We're starting off with the Work Your Light deck, Oracle deck. All right, one on the floor. Let's see if there are any more that want to come out. Oh, two on the floor. Okay. Well, I guess that's what happens when you don't have a big giant table in front of you anymore. Okay, we have Unbound, releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. Something you agreed to do that you're no longer doing, you're no longer going to do. Something from the past. This could be letting go of resentments, which is both harder and easier to do than you think. And also, sometimes they're sneaky. Your little resentments are sneaky. You'll notice it in your body. But there's a release here. You're not that person anymore. There's a sense of being able to cut a cord or release yourself from some kind of past obligation. That's not, we all have all these phases in our lives and we don't need to stay, we can't stay in them. For instance, you know, you're not still in elementary school. So you kind of cut some ties there, right? And you kind of moved on to a new phase of your life. So releasing yourself from an obligation, and maybe you said you would do something, and it's really great to uphold our commitment, stick with those, but it's also really important when we feel very strongly to allow those to end and those commitments and agreements to end. Wow. Break the chain, ancestral patterns, healing, rewiring the future. These are two cards here that are about breaking free from the past. This is, again, about a gradual, this is where you've been, this is home, this is comfort zone, this is out of your comfort zone. And maybe it takes a couple steps here, but you're heading out of your comfort zone. Rewriting the future, breaking the chain, and unbound. I can't imagine two more similar cards. Releasing yourself from the way you used to do things, from some past pattern, from some past, some historical part of your life. It could even be having to do with a family of origins, and releasing yourself from obligations there. But this is for healing. This is not for revenge. This is not for this is not on a whim. This is about healing, and it looks like a pattern or a commitment that's just not been healthy for you, not been good for you. And we're not going to do it that way anymore. So this feels very South Node, North Node stuff. A South Node being where we're coming from, what we've been through, the patterns we've created in our life, and how we've decided to, the patterns not that we created. These are patterns we inherited, patterns that felt very natural, things that felt super normal for us to do. Because it was modeled for us, that's the way it's always been done. And then our North Node is about how we have to change and grow. And some of those transitions are easier than others, and they take place in different houses. So if you haven't done North Node, South Node exploration for your personal chart, that would be important, because this is all about leaving some South Node stuff behind. This could also be about getting out of a contract, canceling something that just isn't going to work for you and no longer feels like a healthy option or the healthy choice or the right thing to do. I almost want to say like getting out of some kind of contract, or breaking away from perhaps people you've worked with in the past, people you've worked with before in the past, breaking out of a rut. But unbound and break the chain, it's like cut the cord and break the chain. There is a lot of release here. All right, and then Oracle of Mystical Moments. I think these two decks, the Work Your Light and Oracle of Mystical Moments, have been with me since the very beginning. All right, that one did not want to come. Like, it was like, I'm gonna come. Yep, I have something to say. Oh no, actually, I do not have anything to say. I'm going right back into the deck. beautiful transformation. Yeah, I'll say transformation of, I mean, we're heading from this unbound, breaking chains, breaking free from some sort of commitment. Um, and so we have a transformation. You've changed. This card definitely speaks to me about organizing your thoughts, organizing your, how you see something, how you view something, and yeah, you've changed what you think about something. You changed how you see something. Oh, maybe you are even looking back on, it could be like a breakup or all sorts of types of relationships, a breakup or a boundary that needed to be set, because we also have boundary things, which creating our own boundaries sometimes means that we have to release like external boundaries or bonds or whatever. There's devil energy all over these cards, as far as, not devil energy, but like the devil card, which probably needs another name, but is it has this energy all over it of releasing yourself from something that's been incredibly difficult to break free from. A contract, perhaps, a or something that was easy to get into. You know, it's easy to sign the contract, much more difficult to like figure out all the legal ramifications of how you get out of that contract. So it's something like that, where, because we have, and it's all about your boundaries. You're changing. You don't need this anymore. This doesn't need to be part of your life anymore. Hold on. All right. So this transformation, you might be looking back on a decision you made to break free from a pattern, and seeing how far you've come, seeing how much you've changed since this sort of, because she's transformed. She's looking at the past. She's looking at her past self, and the way the cards are on this table, her past self is someone that broke free from something, escaped from something, got out of a situation, and she's seeing how far she's come from that time, from that place. So you are changing. You're either changing, I can see it two ways. I can see you changing enough to be able to break free, to feel entitled enough to your own life, to break free from some kind of commitment or some kind of obligation. And so you've changed enough that where now you see these obligations very differently than you did before, where maybe before you felt like you had to do this, you had to be this way. Now you're looking at it and you're like, you know what, maybe I don't have to do that. Maybe I don't have to fulfill this person's expectations of me, or maybe I don't have to do things the way we've always done things. But I can also see it as you looking back at a time in your life when you did break free, when you did break some chains and cut some cords and break some contracts. And you've changed a lot since then. One way it seems like you've changed is that you now have some really good boundaries, where this is like unbound. It might seem like it's about, you know, no boundaries, but it's not. It's about boundaries. Because you are creating a boundary, like who you are today, who you feel obligated towards, and what obligations you're going to honor, because it's not possible. We don't have enough time in our lives to fulfill obligations to everybody. So we have to make choices about what's important to us, what we want, what we need. These are decisions that we have to make. And so so making those choices, we have to decide, and then sometimes we have to put up a boundary between us and someone who's encroaching on our time, who wants more and more. I'm thinking of work. I'm thinking of people that struggle to know where their identity ends and yours begins, and instead are always telling you who you are and having expectations of you. So this rose garden, you have a lot better boundaries now. So the rose garden, so garden is about land that is guarded. It's guarded land is a garden. So it's land that's protected. It's a place that's private, that's ours, that's protected. And we have a commitment to growing all that's inside of that. We are like, this is my square of earth. I'm not gonna let just any old deer come through here and eat everything, and your goat's gonna stay out of my garden. I'm guarding this land and so that I can grow things. So that's where the boundaries come in. Also, roses, very sweet flower, very delicious flower. edible, as well as the rose hips full of vitamin C. The roses, just, in fact, I have rose petals right here. We can have rose petal tea, all sorts of great things. But so every Tom, Dick, and Harry goat, sheep, and cow would be eating the roses. So the roses was like, you know what, this isn't going to work. I'm not going to survive very long. So there's some thorns here. So one of the main features of a rose is its thorns, which help it come to fruition, which help it bring whatever it wants to bring to fruition. So that's what I'm seeing with the garden, with the rose garden. It's always, to me, a boundary card. So you're looking at this past when you had to create boundaries around your life. And here you have much better boundaries than you did before, right? Again, we have another butterfly, symbol of transformation. This is you before the caterpillar, and this is you, the butterfly. And it could even be about creating a space in your life where you needed really good boundaries, the chrysalis. We can't have a butterfly changing if we don't have the chrysalis. Otherwise, our caterpillar turns to goo and it's just smeary all over the place. So we have to like contain sort of our transformation, create a space, a protected space for that transformation and that change. And then, but then there's a time when we can release that, when we are released from the cocoon, when we are released from this enclosed space. So eventually the flowers and the vegetables do leave the garden. But in that growth period, in that transformation period, they're in the garden and they are to be protected and to be taken care of. And so what's causing me to think all of this might be in the past is this card. No rain today. It's sort of a be here now card. It's like, what is going on today? It's not that. It's not this chained up, isolated, bound up place. It's something else. Everything today, we have the sun shining. Today there's been a change from a cave to sunshine. There's been a change from bondage to freedom. We have changed. We're protecting that change. We're being very protective of some of the gains we've possibly taken in life. And so then this no rain today is about, when things are good, let them be good. Like, we can't stay in the cocoon forever. We need to come out into the sunshine. And when it's safe to do so, do that. Come out into the sunshine. And it might take some time to figure out if it's safe to do so. But in another way, you're breaking the chain. You're getting out of your cave. You're getting out of the cocoon. So in some ways, these two cards could be very different. Unbound, breaking from something, breaking from some past, breaking from some past relationships. And then we have breaking the chain, which could be emerging from the chrysalis as the butterfly and being able to see the whole journey you've been on. And maybe, she's looking back at her chrysalis. She's looking back at the cave that she went to for the purpose of her transformation. And now we're looking to the future. We've got our boundaries. We feel very secure. These boundaries aren't out of insecurity. These are secure boundaries. She feels very secure. She knows she has what it takes to fend off anybody that doesn't have her best interests in heart. And so she's out here in the world because she grew some thorns. So she's got some thorns. So now she's more comfortable being seen and being out in the world. So no rain today, no troubles. Well, let's not borrow some. We're not borrowing any troubles. Okay. And then I've got the Golden Tarot, which I've been using recently. One extra shuffle. From the bottom of the deck, the Lovers, decisions that have been made, choices and decisions that we've made here. Things that have attracted us, have really called to us. Maybe we didn't follow them because the circumstances weren't right, or it felt unsafe somehow, or we felt, or our minds didn't see the possibilities of that this was actually possible. So the Lovers talks about a choice, usually a choice involving some amount of sacrifice. And this would be in the past. Past, present, inner landscape, what's at issue, environment, to-do list, possible outcome. All right. Coins, coins, coins. We've got 3 coins, so this could be about, very specifically about money and work. So, Knight of Wands in the recent past. This is inspired, leaps forward. Is it intuition or is it impulsivity? That's what the Knight is asking us. This could have been communication, somebody maybe doing a little bit of rash communication, brave communication. Is it rash? Is it brave? We don't know. But the Knight of Wands, Knights are about communication and Wands are about inspiration. So it's very, there was inspired, and the Knight always seems like he's, well, this Knight's a little bit prancy, a little bit, he's moving at a pretty good clip, but it's very fancy. He feels very fancy. There's a lot of decor here on this Knight. And it's communication. And I think it's left people wondering if this Knight is serious or not. Because it was very, the communication was very like fancy or very showy perhaps. And so it might, you know, it could be like someone like, well, let's just go to Brazil. Let's go next week. And you're like, are they serious about that? Are they not serious about that? Because if they're serious about that, then I got to do this and this and this. But if they're not serious about that, so there was maybe some questions about how serious this person was. It could have been you, and this could be an alert, like, hey, people weren't quite sure if you were serious about that or not, because maybe you didn't follow up, and maybe you didn't follow up because they didn't seem serious about it. So it's a communication, and there's always some vagueness to me about the Knight of Wands. Maybe not vagueness, but just like a question of, is that person real? Is this, and it would be a person specifically, and because of it's being a court card. Then we have 10 of Coins. So we have this gathering. 10 of Coins always reminds me of a retirement party, a going away party. The work's done and we're just here to have fun now. And it's hanging out with people. It's everybody kind of gets to do what they want. We have resources, we have food, we have community. 10 of Coins is considered one of the greatest cards in the deck because we have both our material needs met and we have material success, and we also have family community success. So it's sort of this like group hanging out together, having success, having been successful. But it's got vacation vibes because 10 of Coins is the work's done, the work's over, it's over there, and we are going over here to enjoy the fruits of our labors, which with the people that we love. So we're maybe enjoying stuff that we, money that we earned, or time off that we earned, or something like that. Or it could be retirement party. Sometimes it comes through as funeral, like the person's life is over, and so it can also be an inheritance card because the person's life is over and now everyone else gets to enjoy the fruits of their labors. It's always a little interesting. Then we have 7 of Coins. Oh my gosh, we have 3 people here, but none of them are like at their peak capacity. So we kind of have a bunch of newbies, clumsy lovers stumbling around. We've got lovers right here. So 7 of Coins, patience. So this is your hopes, your fears, your inner landscape. You are waiting for something to come to fruition. Gosh, maybe you're worried about getting impatient. Like, oh, every time I get impatient with this process, I go back to square one, you know. It's taking too long. Maybe wanting to be part of something. Maybe there is this celebration and you want to be part of it, but maybe your boundaries don't let you. I mean, also look at this. This 10 of Coins is taking place in a garden. And here we have the fenced off guarded land here. And we have the tree, and we have this tree right in here. But in your head or in your inner landscape, You're still waiting. Are you still waiting for this? Are you impatient to get to this place of fruition? You know, this can represent a whole lifetime of work. It can represent like a couple of weeks in a project too, but it can represent a whole lifetime. So is this, there's this impatience, there's this not knowing if you should continue on a path or bail on the path. Has this run its course? Are these fruits ever going to ripen? Your dog's like ready to go. Your dog's like, I'm out of here. I can't stand around and watch this fruit ripen. This is crazy. But you're sort of maybe even wistfully remembering perhaps a time in which you did have everything you need, or there was a good gathering. Hold on. All right. So the Seven of Coins, you're looking at this gathering. You're either outside of it, or maybe you're seeing somebody else enjoy the fruits of their labors, and you're wondering when you get to enjoy the fruits of yours, or when your fruit ripens. Because there's this things happening at the same time. There's both something like a party happening, a gathering happening, relaxation, togetherness, abundance happening, and then but in your mind you're still waiting for it to happen, or you're longing for that same thing. And you've got your tree, and when does your tree bloom? When does your tree ripen? When does your tree come to fruition? When do you get to gather with your loved ones to do this, right? So he's looking, he's watching this. This is your current situation, and yet in your mind you're over here. So it almost seems like this is happening for somebody else and you're watching it happen. Either that, or you're like both experiencing it and like longing for more, or longing for another part of your life to be like this Ten of Cups. Eight of Wands is what's at issue here. There's no communication. Or if there is communication, it's not very effective. This could be somebody that you're really not communicating with anymore. Like maybe that's part of the decision that you had to make, was to create boundaries. This person, yeah, there's not, you don't, there's, it's like you don't understand what's happening. I don't understand what's happening. Why are you both experiencing this and longing for this at the same time? But so maybe it's different parts of your life. But there's a lack of communication. So this could be someone that you're not communicating with, communication you haven't received, maybe clarification you haven't received. There's something you haven't heard about this, or you haven't heard, maybe you didn't hear about the party, maybe you haven't heard about something. It's so interesting because we have no rain today, like everything's fine. So maybe like it's like a no news is good news kind of thing, and you're like, oh my God, there's no news. And it's like, that's okay. You only get news when it's bad. And then we have the Seven of Cups here in your environment. So this is a lot of decisions. So maybe you haven't heard because someone hasn't made decisions yet. There's a lot of options here. And this is sort of like a debate. We've got a spreadsheet. This reminds me of like the flow spreads or whatever they are from like debate team. We've got two different parts here. They're debating the different merits of each thing, trying to figure out what thing they want, what makes them happy. And perhaps that's why it's giving this Knight of Wands. Maybe someone proposed something and then you never heard from them again, and that's because they're like trying to make a choice, or trying to make a decision. There's a lot of different options and places. There's a lot of different options that they could go with, and they're trying to decide. I mean, what is going to make them happy? And they've been sort of in a way presented with a bunch of different options, and there's almost like, in this card in particular, it looks like there's sort of two different takes on this of what could be going on here. And so they're maybe debating the merits, you know, and like it does look like there's two teams and they're trying to figure out, or two, you know, it's like a committee has to make a decision, and there's one that's working on the cost benefit analysis, and there's another that's working on the like feasibility or the games that are going to happen at this event, at this party. And maybe you're impatient and you're excited for this party or this gathering. And then we've got two different committees here trying to make different choices. And at some point they're going to have to confer together to figure out like if what we can do, right? So decisions, lots of options. So if you thought you were the only option or the only candidate for this job or the only whatever, you're not. There's a lot of different possibilities and they have to make decisions. And not only are they making decisions about like who, they're making decisions about what the contract looks like, how much the pay is going to be. There's like a lot of things to be decided and a lot of moving parts. Your to-do list, page of coins, take the job. Accept the offer. Page of coins could be an actual child. So it could be like taking on an actual child, you becoming a child, but that's not possible. We got a one-way trip here. I mean, with all the coins, it's like taking on Jack, there's like this whole couch here. There is literally no reason for you to be there. Can you come over on this part of the couch, maybe? Good. Thank you, sweetheart. Okay, page of coins. You're the newbie. Be the new person. Learn a new skill. Take on a new project. Right, I was joking about clumsy lovers, but this is like, allow yourself to be a clumsy newbie at something. Accepting a new position, accepting a new job, accepting a new project, a new challenge, a new investment. You're the page, this is you. You are someone who is new at something. So I'm guessing you're not an actual child, which the page of coins often depicts to me as you are the actual child here. And maybe there is something in that for somebody. Be the actual, be the child. Accept some sort of role as a child, or as the newbie, or as, yeah, it's like accept this money or this inheritance or this right, because inheritance necessarily means that you are the child here. You are the receiver of this. There's like some sort of communication too, like this is a gift to you, or this is divinely guided. You may not be fully understanding what it is that you have in your hands, what it is. I mean, you need to read up on it. You need to be very grounded, and also courageous and headstrong. You need to ask a lot of questions about any kind of gift you receive, any kind of new job or position. There's a lot of asking questions here. Your and the possible outcome, page of swords. So this could be someone coming into your life. This could be you. Like once you accept some sort of gift, there's this sense or position or new object. Once you accept a new object, there's a sense of there's going to be a learning curve and you're going to be at the bottom of it. So our learning curve goes like this. I always find it very useful to map my place on the learning curve. Okay, we want to get up here. We're at here. We have 2 pages. You're like really at here. So don't think that just because you got this thing that you know everything about it. There is a sense where you're going to need to ask a lot of questions. You're going to need to read up on it, and you might end up needing to communicate and not sure how to ask the question, not sure how to express something. And there's a tentativeness to it. And this could be how to tell people something about your life, your changing reality, how to talk about it. You may not know, but you'll need to start talking about it. You'll need to start learning at it. You're going to need to think a lot about something, being very thoughtful about it. And there could be someone coming along to help you to be very, very thoughtful about it. This also has, there are 2 pages, so it's a little bit of stumbling, clumsy lovers vibes too, of like, it could be somebody else that's like just learning about something and they're also very awkward about it. So there's someone here, you or someone else needs to communicate, and it's a new thing. Or learn about something, because it's the mind, it's the thoughts and the words. So it could be all of that. Reading up on something, learning about how to do something by reading the book. Like first comes some sort of physical newness that you are embodying, and then it comes some sort of like reading the contract, reading the training manual, reading going back to school. It's student vibes, so there's this school aspect of being the student and learning. So a lot of, and maybe that's this whole transition, is you're maybe accepting a position, and then you have to read a lot about it. So, and it's good. It's good. There's no rain today. This is nothing here is like bad news or difficulty. There might be no news, which is interesting with this 8 of Wands, is like, you don't really know. You're not really necessarily getting information. You haven't heard back. But it's good. It's good. Decisions are still like this. This makes me feel like the details of the contract are still being worked out. There's still some unknowns. It's like when you get accepted into college, but you don't yet know what your financial aid packet is going to be. Like there's just still stuff going on, and you haven't heard about that part. But there's still something to celebrate here, but there's still something you're celebrating something, but there's still something you're waiting on to hear about. Koi fish, there is always enough. Well, with a reading with 3 coins in it, I think we need to remember this. Also, the koi fish, as the legend of the koi fish, is a lot of work going upstream, and once they get to where they are, they're dragons. So the koi fish, though, there is always enough goldfish. So just if you get into some sort of scarcity mode, I mean, but with these trees full of money, with these money trees here, and then you're picking one of the fruits from them, one of these things is ready to pick. You've got these money trees. Oh, look, we've got this 10 of coins money tree. And we've got a child picking one of the coins off of it. This is you. You get one of these coins. You get something here of this tree that you've put a lot of work into. Anyway, there's always enough gold coins. Okay, so so if you get fearing scarcity, remember this is a great mantra. Frog spirit, clear out the clutter. Maybe part of it is releasing yourself from the past, is clearing out cluttered thinking, getting really focused. So clearing out the clutter could be getting really focused also. And maybe you got to do some cleaning here. Some clearing and some cleaning in preparation for a leap forward. You know, when you move, you always have to like go through your stuff, see what you need, what you don't need. And sometimes the new place, you don't need all the same stuff that you have in the old place. So, getting down to brass tacks is a little bit what that feels like. And finally, one last thing, the wild Kuan Yin. Brightness of your future. Okay, but yeah, it's just dawning here. Listen to your discontent, your yearning. You want something true. You should not just be quiet and get back to your day job or how things have been as if you're making a drama out of nothing. Yeah, if you want to break free from the past, if you're unsatisfied with some place where you're at, that's a sign. Go forward. Do something. Almost, if you can't think of something to do, like if you don't really have that strong direction, just move at all. Just any kind of movement will help. You are meant to be moved by these feelings to become more alive. Trust in the brightness of what is meant to be. Right? And this reminds me of breaking the chain, this place, this dark cave. Right? That you're unsatisfied with the cave. And the image that's coming to me is a little bit like the chrysalis. It's a little bit like this can't continue anymore. This isn't, and it's not meant to continue forever. You're not meant to be in, there is some kind of holding place for you, and you're not meant to be there forever. And maybe you've become a little impatient, realizing like, I'm not meant to be here forever. It reminds me of the chick that's in the egg, and all of that protein in the egg the chick is using to grow, but at some point it runs out of food in the egg, and there's nothing else for it to absorb, or what, however, I'm guessing through all the different stages it's making use of all this protein in different ways. So at some point there's nothing left for the chick inside the egg, and so it has to start cracking the egg. It's using the same I'm hungry, and that same pecking is what it's going to get its food with, but right now it's not getting food with it, it's just breaking free out of something. So it's the same like skill. So an intuitive understanding that what you need isn't here anymore. So there does need to come something new, and you'll have to be a beginner. All right, hope that that's helpful for you. See you guys next time. Bye.